Sathoff. I'm Superintendent in Indianola Community School District, and I'm speaking about a big plan that we have underway to open an online learning center here at Indianola. And it's been very exciting work for us. It really began out of our desire just to serve our kids as well as we could. I think, like many other places, we have a number of students who are just looking for other options, who maybe feel anxiety, struggle with regular school day, are looking for increased online options. It made sense for us because we are in year 4 of a digital learning environment in our high school. Every student has a MacBook, and we already had a number of teachers taking classes in blended and flipped and working on integrating technology into their instruction. So we actually already kind of had the train started before we jumped on with this as a plan. Craig Calhoun and I, the high school principal, talked probably a year and a half ago or so. And since then, we've worked very closely with the AEA. Denise Crafting and Evan Abbey have been invaluable in this process with their expertise, the time that they've given us. We have a technology integration coach for the district who works a lot in the high schools, doing a very good job with this. And we also are allocating one of our TLC instructional coaches more to this pursuit as we go to get online learning rolling at Indianola. Our plan right now is that in the fall of 2019, we will have an online learning center open, a building specifically for online learning, and that we will have a totally online core diploma available to students if they would choose that option. We really see this as being a range of things for our students, everything from blended and flipped instruction in the regular classroom to online facilitated courses to totally self-paced courses that students can take. We also plan to roll our alternative program, which we call EPIC, into this pursuit. Right now, like a lot of schools, we're using a canned product. We're using Odysseyware, and we just feel like we can develop our own curriculum that is totally aligned and more robust, more interactive. We really are navigating through all of this right now, but we're making great progress. Teachers are getting courses written. We have a timeline and a budget element to this. We're getting lots of support, and there's a lot of enthusiasm on the part of our staff. One thing I've learned definitely is that this is a big undertaking. I think it would be for any size district. There are a lot of moving parts, as we all know. You know, if you're a school administrator, you take a broad view of things and you understand a lot of things have to happen with a big initiative. As I mentioned before, it's been very helpful to have the knowledge and expertise of Denise and Evan. One of the main things we had to do was just map out how we're going to get from here to there. And our curriculum director, Cindy Slauson, has been very involved in that as well and very helpful. We've had a number of meetings with high school administration, with the tech integration coach, the instructional coach that's working on this, and Evan and Denise, the curriculum director, me, school business official. Lots and lots of conversation to figure out how to move the ball from here to there. And I think, like anything else, once you decide that we are going to do this, then the focus becomes how are we going to do it, and then planning becomes paramount. So we had to try to figure out if we could do what we wanted to do within the time frame we were talking about. We've spent a lot of time on developing, the ability of our teachers internally, and we weren't sure what kind of response we were going to get at first, but it's been very enthusiastic. We've had an application process for a cohort of teachers that are going to be taking through this learning, collaborating with both the AEA and Drake University. These teachers will have the ability to be certified online educators when they get done with all the coursework. We've allocated a lot of professional development money to the teachers for their time and their coursework, and also for the products that they're producing. Definitely. Like I said, I think it was a germ of an idea probably a year and a half ago, and we won't have it come to fruition until the fall of 2019. And actually then we won't be done at that point either. We'll still be going on and writing more electives and getting more people trained and going through the program. So, I mean, overall, from idea to total implementation, it's probably 4-year process, something like that. And that was something too, that I relied upon you and Evan too, just to ask the question, is this realistic? Can we get to this point by then? And I know you remember some of those conversations when we first were putting things out there. And we also, again, just trying to figure out how many teachers we could handle in a cohort. We had more interested than we could support financially. And then figuring out among those interested teachers, okay, which classes do we really need to get written first? So it is very much a process. I think for me, in my experience, most of the things in my life, the big things that have been worth doing, some people want to take that approach of let's figure out every detail, get it perfect before we jump. I'm a little more of a proponent of, go when opportunity knocks. Don't wait till you're ready. Go and part of problem solving is figuring it out as you go along. And I would stop short of saying we're building the airplane in the air here. We definitely are taking a very measured approach, but every detail was not worked out. And we decided and committed that we were going to do this. And once we've done that, as I said, there are great resources out there. And, you have to tap into the passion and ability of the people in your buildings and your organization. We were blessed to have some people just really grab this idea and run with it. If the reception of the idea I had gotten was lukewarm or people would have said, I don't know if we can do that, or they weren't ready to commit, it would have been a lot different story. But as it is, we had some very key people who were enthused and really took the ball and ran with it. And I feel very good about the progress we're making. But I would count on a multiple year endeavor and set up those little milestones for yourself along the way. Maybe first it is build that blended and flipped capacity within the classroom. Next, maybe it is have a class or two in the course handbook that's online facilitated. Get to the point where you have some people who are trained as online educators so that they can write a totally self-paced course, assess it. There are a lot of pieces to this. And, I thought I was a good teacher, but I know I couldn't sit down. I could not sit down and write a quality self-paced course. I would need to get trained. And our staff has been very willing to do that. I really envision that online learning center of being a pretty busy hub of activity. And we hope that, somebody who right now might be tempted to open and roll out to one of the online schools. Well, now, there's no need. We have an online program and we think our product's going to be great and we can serve our students better. That's really the whole motivation behind it. I think any school district feels that moral imperative of educating their students well. And obviously, technology is a huge part of kids' lives today. We believe in the concept of online learning. We just haven't jumped in with both feet before today. So we think it's going to be a popular option. We might have to evaluate our capacity as we go along. And, hopefully we can adjust on the fly and not have to put the brakes on or not be able to meet demand if demand is high. But we just think it has great potential to serve our students and our families. And as we've started to communicate this with families and with school board members, there seems to be quite a bit of excitement about it. Yeah, I think we're definitely in the early stages of that. There has been board conversation. We have talked about it at our School Improvement Advisory Committee. We actually have an upcoming meeting the end of this month where that will be one of the highlights of the meeting, when we'll have our instructional coach and our tech integration specialist come and talk to that group about it. I put a little article in the district newsletter that goes out. We still do usually about 3 times a year, the old style, send it to every patron in the district. Of course, we'll communicate electronically as well. We have a new website, revamped website that we just rolled out. Really, you learn in education, you're never going to communicate well enough. So, when I mention communication, we're in the very early stages of that, and it's going to take a lot more. But also just through the course catalog that goes out to students, getting those online options within the course catalog, because that'll be a new thing, for them to look at. They won't even necessarily understand what they're looking at. So the counselors will be an important piece of that, the high school administration. Within high schools, I think a lot of people know too, sometimes the teachers in the classroom are the best promoters of that kind of thing, kind of recruit kids to their electives or their areas. So it's going to take a lot of work on the part of a lot of people. But like I said, the early feelers that we put out there have been very well received.
Perfect.
I think I've already probably kind of hit on this, but I wrote down as a main takeaway for me is, go slowly. Now that seems funny for me to say that after I just said, don't wait till it's ready, jump in and do it. Get started by all means, but then be patient and understand, there are so many moving parts to this. Even from the work you've done with our staff in figuring out how to sequence the different courses and who really needed to have what when. And could we get started with this without them having, this certification, but could we get started? There are just lots of questions like that. Our curriculum director, Cindy Slauson, again, on the budgeting side, huge commitment of professional development dollars to this and figuring out how that was going to work and how many people we could afford to help. Don't take any little process for granted. Like I said, we had to have an application process to get into the cohort that was going to get paid. And then, we had to communicate to teachers, hey, this is the reality. This is what we have right now. We're not saying you can't take additional coursework. And we do have some teachers, I think, taking some courses on their own dime too. By all means, jump in and do it. I think it's a great opportunity for kids